2, 3.
Another day of the week. Welcome to the Friday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. And as you can see, representing my Miami Dolphins, the wheels fell off. But Tua's going to show up on Sunday night and put them back on versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so coming off a bit of an even show overall. Yesterday, Ian did the heavy lifting for us. I went 1-3. So I got my ass absolutely handed to me, standing out the collab bet that Ian and I did on Saints plus 2.5. That really blew up in our face. Should have known better than to bet against or to back Andy Dalton in a primetime game, I guess. Let's bring in my guy, Ian McMillan, having some technical difficulties there this morning. How are we making out, Ian? You get things sorted out, you and Tito?
I don't know. You tell me. Is my audio back on, Joe?
Yeah, his audio is working all right. So what, you buy this $500 microphone and screwing you right over, right?
Classic. That's the way it goes, I suppose. So back to my $60 microphone for today's show.
Yeah, go figure, right? Okay, so Ian and I, we've been doing pretty good on the Friday version of this program. We've ripped off 4 consecutive profitable Football Friday shows. We're going to look to make that 5 consecutive here today. A lot to get into. We've had a bit of a winning formula where Ian mainly sticks to sides. I mainly stick to totals. Of course, a greasy money line parlay. There's a Major League Baseball playoff game today. So we are going to cover it all. Let's get right into that action starting right now. Starting with this game between the Browns and the Ravens has a total of 45.5. Boom! I like the over. In this one, let's get right into it. So expect both of these teams to have some trouble getting stops here on Sunday. Both teams are great at running the football. First versus 5th in yards per rush allowed. Both are bad at stopping the run, though. 18th versus 26th in yards per rush allowed. Expect more TDs than FGs in this one. Both good at converting in the red zone, but 20th and 26th in opponent red zone TD conversion percentage. Great protection versus a weak pass rush on both sides. Good spot for both quarterbacks, with neither generating much of a pass rush and just 20 combined sacks allowed. Also helps us that it's 19th versus 27th in yards per pass allowed. That Cleveland defense is really bad. High scores have become the norm in Browns games. Average combined score of 51.9 in their games so far here this season. Ian, what are you looking at for your first side of the day?
Yes, I will be fading the New York Football Giants here. I'm seeing some people on Twitter say, oh, the Giants, they're 5-1. How are they underdogs to the Jaguars? That doesn't make any sense. It must be a trap line. Vegas must know something. Well, I would encourage people who are betting on the NFL to at least look one step further than a team's record and look at, hey, maybe a couple stats every now and then. Because if you look at the numbers, this Giants team, not good. They're not good.
Oh,
hats off to them for being 5-1, but this is not a good football team. 27th in the NFL in net yards per play. The Jaguars all the way up at 9th in that stat. So if you look at the stats, this Jaguars team are rightful favorites in this game, especially at home here. And it's a good stylistic matchup for them as well, because the majority of the yards the Giants gain on offense comes on the ground, and the Jaguars, 3rd best run defense in the NFL. 3rd in opponent yards per carry. So let's go ahead and bet on some New York regression here. Like I said, congrats to them for being 5-1, but you got to back the stats, not the record. If you go ahead and bet on NFL teams and you just bet on whichever one has the better record in every game, I guarantee you it's probably not going to go well for you. So give me the Jaguars -3 against the Giants.
Yeah, the New York Giants winning dirty this season. But yeah, statistically, they absolutely stink. Not indicative of a team that's 5-1. Okay, let's keep rolling here. One of my favorite teams to bet on so far this season has been the Denver Broncos. I love taking the unders in their games, of course. So they got the Jets in town, total of 38.5 in this one. Boom! I once again like the under, and I like it a lot. So go back about a calendar year. The Denver Broncos, they are 13-4 to the under in that span. Take a look at their games this season. Average combined score of just 31.6 in their games. Expect a lot of punting in this game. Both teams having trouble converting on third down, 27th and 30th. When they get into the red zone, expect more field goal attempts than touchdowns. Broncos, historically bad in the red zone, converting on just 20% of red zone scoring attempts, easily last in the NFL. But on the other side of the football, they are first in this category of great red zone defense for the Broncos. Each is very strong versus the pass as well. First and 10th in yards per pass allowed. Really doesn't matter to me whether it's Russell Wilson or Brett Rippon starting for the Broncos in this one. And guys, I also have access to a Weather Network website. I logged in this morning. Heavy winds expected in Denver Sunday during the day, so that's only going to help our case for a low-scoring game. Ian, what do you have next?
Up next, I got my money line upset underdog of the week here, and I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to defeat the Tennessee Titans. I know the Titans already beat them back in week 4, but if you actually look at the numbers in that game, Colts largely outplayed them. They had more yards per play than the Titans in that game. If it wasn't for the 3 turnovers that the Colts had, then I think it would have been a much different result. Yards per play in that game, the Colts had 5.8. The Titans had 4.7. I talked about net yards per play earlier with the Giants. Well, the team that ranks dead last in the NFL in net yards per play is the Tennessee Titans. Statistically, they are the worst team in the National Football League. And also, don't let the Colts' rough start to the season here discourage you, because they have historically done this under Frank Reich. They have a bad first few weeks, and then they get their momentum going, and they're much better in the middle and in the back half of the year. So I think we saw a flash of that starting to get going last week for the Colts against the Jaguars. I think they're going to continue to roll this week. I'll take Colts on the money line to upset the Tennessee Titans on Sunday.
Yeah, Colts. Have it. Okay. I like a high-scoring game here between the Seahawks and the Chargers. Total of this one is down to 50. Of course, I like the over in this game, and this is a big fat fade of each of these defenses coming into this game, ranked 25th and 30th in yards per play allowed, also 26th and 29th in points allowed. Looks like a great spot for Justin Herbert to absolutely go off. Seattle's 28th in yards per pass attempt allowed. But on the other side of the ball, big edge on the ground for Seattle, who's 3rd in yards per rush, versus LA, who's 31st in yards per rush allowed. And each tops this number with regularity. They've each done it in 2 of their last 3 games. Seattle on an over tear, going over in 8 of their last 12. Similar story for LA, over 9 of their last 12. So we got the perfect pairing for a high-scoring game. Ian, what is your final pick for Sunday?
Yeah, big game on Sunday between the Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers, and I will take the Chiefs to cover the spread in this one. To be honest, I got to the -3. It's down to -2.5 now, so go ahead and grab it at the better number than what I got. I don't think the 49ers offense is going to be able to keep up with the Chiefs offense this game. The Chiefs converting 50% of their third down opportunities, turning them into first downs. 49ers only around 40%. That's going to be tough, because that means that the 49ers offense is not going to be able to stay on the field, and you got to stay on the field. You got to milk the clock, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field in order to beat Kansas City, and I don't think the 49ers can do that. And also, a big part of the 49ers offense, we all know this, is they love to run the ball. They use that to set up the pass. Well, I don't think they're going to do a very good job of that on Sunday because the Chiefs, surprisingly 6th in opponent yards per carry. Last season, they were one of the worst teams in the NFL in defending the run. They are now one of the best teams. And I saw some people last night running to bet on the 49ers because they acquired Christian McCaffrey. I would say slow down on that. He's just getting to San Francisco today. The game's in 2 days. He might not even dress, but if he does, he's probably going to play 5 to 10 plays. It takes a little while to learn an entire offensive playbook, so I would not bet on the 49ers yet just because they got CMC. So I'll take the Chiefs to cover the small spread on Sunday.
It's a weird reaction, running to jump to bet on the 49ers. Because of that trade, we'll talk about that McCaffrey pickup here momentarily, but it is now time for the most controversial bet in all of sports betting. Of course, I'm talking about the greasy money line parlay. It is 3-2 on the season, so profitable on the year, but unfortunately coming off a loss there last week, and people are quite upset about that. We have some drone footage from outside my house right now. Yeah, people are getting a little out of control. Pretty upset. I don't even know what flag that is. England, maybe. Yeah, it's getting out of control. People pretty pissed off that we lost there last week. So we're going to try to pick up a winner here. So this is a big time. This is about as greasy as it gets for the greasy money line parlay. It is a 5-legger across 4 days, across 3 leagues, and it is coming in at plus 151. And the greasy money line parlay starts tonight with the BC Lions minus 300. You might be asking yourself, who in the fuck are the BC Lions? Let me tell you a little bit about them. They are 3rd on the CFL's Grey Cup odds board. They are taking on a team in Edmonton who has been removed from the Grey Cup odds board. Edmonton has lost 16 straight games at home. The Lions have wins of 32 and 44 against them this season. Next up, we go into Saturday, and we take Clemson minus 490, 20-game home win streak on the line for the Tigers. 6 straight double-digit wins at home, 8-1 in their last 9 versus Syracuse. We then move to Wake Forest. This is the gimme of this week's GMP, minus 1,400. Wake has won every game this season with the exception of a 6-point loss to Clemson. No shame in that. PFF grades their opponent, Boston College, 111th out of 131 teams, and they will get crushed by this Wake Forest defense. We move to the Sunday leg, the lone Sunday leg, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, minus 675. Carolina is now tanking. Not intentionally, they're not trying, but they're setting themselves up for failure, as they should. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, coming off an embarrassing loss, look for a bounce back. And we wrap things up on Monday Night Football, Patriots and Bears. Give me the Patriots minus 365. Absolutely buzzing. Right now, they have outscored their last 2 opponents 67-15. The Bears, who were truly awful, don't pull off a lot of straight-up upsets. 3-17 in their last 20 games straight up. As a dog. There you have it. Greasy money line parlay. Let's get back on track here this weekend with a big winner. And guys, let's not forget a pretty big baseball game here. The NLCS. All tied up at 1 game apiece. My best bet for this game, we're going to take the Padres' first 5-inning team total, taking to go over 1.5, coming in at minus 125. Ranger Suarez on the bump here for the Phillies, and he was completely rattled in his playoff debut. He walked 5 batters, and he got extremely lucky to only allow 1 earned run versus Atlanta. Now, that was 10 days ago. He might be a little rusty. He's only pitched 6.1 innings in October so far. The Padres do hit lefties better, WRC plus of 105 versus lefties since September 1st. Very respectable number there. And what I like best about this bet, they have topped this in 7 of 9 playoff games versus some very good pitchers. Scherzer, DeGrom, Urias, Kershaw, and of course Nola. Last time out, so give me the Padres in the first 5 innings to score at least 2 runs there. Okay. What was that? That was 8 total bets, I believe. And if you were looking to place some of these bets or maybe fade them for some reason, the choice quite simply is yours. I recommend checking out BetMGM. BetMGM. Kick off the week of football with the king of the sportsbook. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS. Your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS. All one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Unbelievable. Producer Tito. He knows I hate that sound effect. I'm so disgusted. The Broncos are so pathetic. Russell Wilson, these Subway ads. I put out a tweet on Twitter saying that competing sub company needs to hire Geno Smith to go head-to-head with Subway and the Russell Wilson ad. So, Ian, let's talk about the news we all woke up to this morning, those of us on the East Coast. Christian McCaffrey off to the San Francisco 49ers. So, McCaffrey, I think it's fair to say his best days are behind him, but he's still a really good player. You know, it's kind of ironic. The injury, he's very injury prone. He's going to a very injury prone team. So we know he won't make an impact this weekend versus the Chiefs, even if he does play. So your long-term view of McCaffrey being added to this offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously going to help them. He's a good player. I don't know about like their Super Bowl odds went way up. I just don't know if if a running back
what their Super Bowl odds moved up shorter than this.
Yeah,
man, is so. It's like this isn't as bad as it was like when Julio Jones went to the Bucs. People are like, "Oh my God, this is incredible." It's not as bad as that, but it's shades of that, maybe, because anyone who knows anything about football is like, well, Julio Jones can't get on the field anymore. He was very ineffective with Tennessee last season. Now, it's not as bad as that, but people overreact to these skill players, you know, making later on in their careers, making a move. So, yeah, I'm on the same page as Ian. And one thing I want to comment here, I'm going to be a complete and total hater with this commentary, but you know, I saw the news this morning and I scroll Twitter and I see probably about a half a dozen different people saying, "Oh, what a classy move here by Christian McCaffrey." These classy remarks, and I click on the link, and it's basically just, you know, the standard picture of him in the uniform of now his older team, saying, "Hey, thank you, Carolina. You know, thank you for 5 great years." Is it really necessary to give him a big pat on the back for that? What do you expect them to say? "Hey, Carolina, go fuck yourselves"? I'm very happy to be on a new team here. So a little bit of a hater there from me. But yeah, so don't get McCaffrey into your fantasy lineups this weekend, Ian?
No, not this weekend. Once again, I think he's going to help the 49ers team, but I just don't think like a running back makes a team like a true Super Bowl contender. I mean, they're going to be a little bit better, but yeah, they're 5th on the odds list now to win the Super Bowl at BetMGM, behind only the Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, and Bucks. So,
yeah, they're going to get by the Seahawks first.
That's right,
and the Falcons. They're all knotted up, 3-3. The Arizona Cardinals, they're not out of it by any means. They're very much in the mix again. I don't know, those teams have 3 wins now.
Yeah, Cardinals would have an additional loss. They'd be 3-4, but yeah. 3-3, 3-3, 3-3, 3-4. Crazy.
People, I will look forward to fading the Cardinals their next time out. I don't even know who they're playing, but you know, Andy Dalton. When have you ever seen 2 pick sixes on 2 minutes? Has that ever happened? I don't know if they brought that up last night, but he also threw one in the end zone, for God's sakes. That was like Kirk Cousins can laugh about that primetime performance, right?
Yeah, I'm on a streak of these bets where just like everything that can go wrong goes wrong. It's happened in a number of games now. Like when I was on the Monday Night Football, who played Monday night? And there's the Broncos. I was on Broncos money line. They lost because someone muffed the punt. The Thursday Night Football game with the Bears the week before, a guy muffed the punt. Last night, Andy Dalton throws 3 interceptions, 2 back-to-back pick sixes. Like I'm on a streak of these. It happens every now and then as a bettor. You just have a streak of these bets that just nothing goes right. I'm in the middle of one of those streaks, and it sucks. It is so frustrating. I turned the game off last night after the second pick six.
Yeah, I didn't watch the fourth quarter. I was feeling pretty good about that. About a quarter and a half into the game?
They're looking
Ian
great.
and I, of course, both on the Saints. They were moving. Like that first touchdown pass, an absolute dime drop by Dandy Andy. And he completely unraveled. And who was it? Callaway. Talk about a bust. Remember last year, fantasy perspective? Everyone was talking about Callaway having a breakout season. That guy's invisible out there unless he's screwing up like he did last night. Okay. If you love what we do here at Vegas Insider, you are going to want to check out the brand new Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Yeah. All right, guys. I believe, so I put out the tweet every morning asking for your viewer best bet breakdowns. A quick note on that. Sometimes people will just respond, this team over this team. Guys, we're not going to do that on the show. It's called the best bet breakdown. Anyone can throw a dart out there and say, I like this team plus 250. Tell us why. We want the breakdown because that's what Ian and I do on the show. We give a breakdown of our bets, so we want your breakdowns as well. We did 3 of them yesterday. Those went 3-0. Picks from the CTP crew. So you want to pay attention to these guys. There's some sharp bettors out there in the Twitter world. So we'll bring the first one up here. This is a guy. We got to show him some love. He, of course, was on the Falcons last week. Matty Puppy Sports. Kyrie Irving over 23.5 points. Nets were embarrassed in their opener. And all Kyrie needs is a little motivation. He was 6 for 19 in that game and will come back and carry the team on Friday night. Is there a line on the Nets firing Nash? Take the under. Hey, listen here. I don't disagree with the pick. He's going to have that high shot volume. He had 19 attempts, as our guy Matty Puppy points out. But it's not Steve Nash's fault that he's inherited the most dramatic team in the history of the NBA. It's not Steve Nash's fault that Kyrie and KD are assholes who don't play all the time for a variety of different reasons. So leave Steve Nash alone. No one was complaining about him a year and a half ago at this time. It's the player's fault, not Nash's. Okay, we wish him good luck with that bet, though. Moving on. Our guy Sean Mitchelson, a little college football. He likes Oklahoma State, plus 6.5 versus Texas. Wow. Texas has only played one road game at Texas Tech and gave up 479 total yards in a loss. OSU has gone to Baylor and TCU already. Dual threat Spencer Sanders will be a tough task for Texas, and I think OSU keeps it close and may win outright. Ian, did you look into that game at all?
I did not, no. But I will agree with Sean Mitchelson. I like Oklahoma State this year. Very good defense. You got agreement from Ian. That's not easy on this show. What do we have next, Tito? All right, I got to give credit where credit's due here. Nathan kicked my ass again last night. We've gone head-to-head on hockey picks twice this week. And he won last night with the Oilers over the Hurricanes. So Nathan, I believe Nathan has submitted 3 picks this week, and I think he's 3 for 3 on the NHL. This guy knows his hockey. You're going to want to give him a follow. Nathan Schreckengoss, by the way, if you want to know how to pronounce his last name. He likes the over in the Battle of Florida tonight since last year. The over 28-11-3 in Florida home games and 9-3-1 in which you're at a rest advantage in those games. Tampa Bay, perhaps unlucky so far this season, 29th in goals for per game, but ranked 7th in 5-on-5 expected goals for. Nice stat there. Last year, the 2 matchups in Florida ended 8-4 and 9-3 in the regular season. Great look from Nathan. You don't want to go against this guy. By the way, bonus pick for me, I like the Red Wings as a small favorite
in Chicago versus the Blackhawks tonight. Chicago looks like one of the worst teams in the NFL so far this season. Well, Detroit off to a good start. Dig into the analytics. Big edge for Detroit in that one. Tito, I believe we have one more. Yes, our guy Kowloon City. He hit, I think it was Astros' first 5 team total over yesterday. And he's been on this one for a couple of weeks now. Alec Pierce, over 43.5. We were taking this for the 4th week in a row, has gone over the last 3. Tennessee is dead last in pass defense. Colts OC said Pierce will get more and more targets. Him and Ryan have built up a nice relationship week by week. Going to keep playing this one.
I love that one.
We come back to Ian there on camera.
Hello.
Now, Ian, I had a lovely thought. As you recall, I should have made this an official pick. We can't count it. By the way, you can track all my picks over on the Action Network app. All the picks I make from this show and the UFC podcast go up there. But I talked about Taysom Hill. I said, hey, this guy's going to have a great game. And, of course, we see him run one in, a bet that I didn't make officially. But I had this great thought that I can only imagine what a great friendship that Taysom Hill and Andy Dalton have, probably. Can't you imagine these guys sharing a hotel room and having, breakfast, lunch, and supper together every day? And just a great rapport these two guys must have together. What do you think of that thought? Isn't that a nice thought to have?
It is a nice thought, Joe. I think your camera's frozen, so I think now we're just going to look at my beautiful face for a moment here. Yeah, I like it. I don't know. To be honest, Joe, I wasn't completely paying attention to what you were saying because I was focused on the fact that your camera was frozen, and then the camera came back to me, and I wasn't talking at the time, so.
Can you hear me at least?
I can hear you, Joe.
All right, I don't know what's going on with some technical difficulties. I blame producer Tito, actually, for this.
Me too.
He's telling me to reconnect. I don't know, man. It's almost at the end of the show here, so we'll just have a little bit of fun here. We'll keep the camera on Ian, but I do blame it on producer Tito. He's really taking advantage of working from home. I don't even know how to reconnect, Tito. Do I just hit refresh? Is it as simple as that? Waiting for his response. Okay, Ian, entertain us with an interesting anecdote. I'm going to refresh here, okay?
Okay. I don't have very many interesting anecdotes. I'll throw another football pick out there for the people. What do we got here? Raiders and Texans. Oh, he's back. I won't keep the people waiting, by the way. I just so the people know. I was just going to give another NFL pick, but I like Raiders -7.
Yeah, let's have it. Raiders -7. Okay. Producer Tito, he's really taking advantage of working from home here lately. We have a little pre-show meeting every day. And Tito, I think he meant to have his camera off because me and Ian could visibly see him smoking marijuana out of a gigantic bong. There was some guy with dreadlocks down to his ass. No shirt on, lighting the thing for young Tito here. So really taking advantage of, we want to have a bit of a fun atmosphere around here at Chasing That Paper, but maybe pushing. We want a little bit of professionalism at least. You can party afterwards. Some people perform better on marijuana. I can't say that is the case for producer Tito there, unfortunately. Okay, so it is now time for today's handicapper heat check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today we recognize VI's college football money leader Kyle Hunter, who can be found on Twitter at Kyle Hunter Picks. Kyle is a totals expert who is 27-10 on the college football season. He's also 27 in his last 5 Saturdays, hitting at 71% this year. Save $10 on Kyle's Friday and Saturday picks by clicking on the link in the description below. The $10 discount will be applied during checkout. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, betters. Woo!
Kyle looks like a pretty fun guy.
Absolutely. Not as fun as producer Tito, though. You walk into his apartment, pornography spread out all over the place, just very casually. It's very unusual. So things going off the rails here a little bit at the end of the Friday show. We're all in a mood to party here, Ian. I know Ian's got some cold beer in the fridge, probably some other stuff that we won't get into. Producer Tito, he loves inserting himself into the program here, and he has a chance to defend himself if we're being fair. To be found, yeah, if you have the password to his computer, it'd be a completely different story. You'd be disgusted with what you would find on his computer. So, Ian, a lot going on this weekend in the football world. We got the big UFC. We got the baseball playoffs, the hockey. What can chasing that pay-per-viewers find from you out there in the internet world?
Yeah, you can find my best bet for every single NFL game, all 14 games this week at the Bacon Bets podcast. You can find that anywhere you get your podcasts. And Joe, you and I also did a UFC show earlier in the week. Gave out our best bets
Indeed.
for some UFC 280 fights, so check that out as well.
Indeed. I'm pumped for UFC 280 going down here tomorrow. So, Ian, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. I'm sure Ian has a very exciting weekend plan. He is Mr. New York City, the hunk of the city. If there's any ladies watching, he is taken. So you'll have to keep tuning into the program. But Ian is not available. Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, give us a like, give us a sub, both of those buttons right down there. Guys, have a great time this weekend. Good luck with your bets this weekend, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Go Dolphins! Woo!